Welcome to Getting to Know Google SecOps. I'm John Stoner, and today we're going to introduce the statistical search capability that extends UDM search to ask more complex questions of your data. Statistical search is an expansion of search that goes beyond the tabular result set that we get when we specify fields and values. With statistical search, the analyst has the opportunity to aggregate data by common values and generate calculated values while applying sorting and limits on the result set. In an effort to more tightly align search and rules, Google SecOps utilized URL constructs for statistical search so common groups like match and outcome will look familiar to those who write URL rules. Even if you're not familiar with these constructs, this video will break these constructs down. Finally, it's important to note that while any field in UDM can be used in a search, when we get to the point where we are aggregating and calculating values, only the fields that are referenced in the match and outcome sections are the fields or variables that are going to be used in the results of your statistical search. We'll walk through all of this by looking at some real-world examples, so with that brief introduction, let's dive in. Our search screen has the results of a search for network connections from Corelight in it. We'll be referring to this search string as the filtering statement, as it takes all of the UDM data and reduces it to a subset. While we could use the aggregation section on the left side of the page to view distinct values and counts of individual fields, we really want to roll this information directly into our search so that we can save the search and use it for other purposes. Let's say we wanted to get a feel for the possible values that reside in the metadata product event type field. In Corelight or Zeek, this field is populated with different types of network activity. We can generate a list of unique values by adding a match section to our search. The filtering statement doesn't change, we just add a match section and the field or fields we want to aggregate against. It's worth mentioning that unlike in a URL rule, the match section in a search can accept either a variable defined in the filtering statement or a UDM field name. Here we can see that for the time window in the search, we have a few different network types in our result set. You may be thinking that's fine, but I can see that in the aggregation section of search. Let's add another dimension to our match section and specify another field. Now we are looking for a listing of all combinations of metadata product event type and network IP protocol. We can see that all of the events, with the exception of the connection log, have an IP protocol of TCP, where the connection log has ICMP, TCP, and UDP data contained in it. Perhaps we want to quantify these values. We can do this by adding an outcome section to our rule and adding an outcome variable like this. My outcome variable is called event_count, and we are counting the values in the field metadata event type. There are any number of fields that we could count against, but every field has a metadata event type in it, so I'm going to use that. Now, we have a listing of results, but they aren't in any particular order. Let's resolve that by adding an order section to our search. We can use fields and variables from the match and outcome section to sort our result set, and we can specify the sort order as well. Here we are sorting by the number of events in descending order, followed by the IP protocol in ascending order. Each sort value is separated by a comma, and if ascending and descending are not specified, the sort will default to ascending. Let's refine our search slightly by limiting our result set. Perhaps we only want the top n values in our search to be returned. We can add a limit section to our search that after the sort is applied will only return the number of rows specified within the limit section. Here we can see that we have the top 3 rows returned, and we have counts for each of the combinations of network types and IP protocols in our dataset for the time range specified. What if we had a filtering statement and we just wanted to generate some calculations on that filtering statement without any additional aggregation? We could do that as well. Let's add the product event type and IP protocol to our search, remove the match, order, and limit sections, and output the event count for the filtering statement alone. When we run our search, we get a single value, which is the event count based on the filtering statement requested. Google SecOps has expanded the search functionality to perform statistical search that can aggregate results on common values and generate calculations, like a count for users. Statistical search uses URL constructs for this syntax, with a match section used for aggregations and outcome section used for calculations. Additional sections like order and limit are available for sorting and outputting a fixed number of results. Finally, it's worth remembering that a statistical search can have a match section, an outcome section, or both, depending on the type of search being built. There's a lot more coming, and in the future videos, we'll highlight additional functionality available to users, and we'll use statistical searches to highlight these functions. How's that for some foreshadowing? If you want to learn more about Google SecOps, check out my blog series called New to Google SecOps for more handy tips. We have a number of community URL detections at our GitHub site and are continually adding more. And don't forget to engage the security community at secopscommunity.com.